Hello everybody, welcome to this week's protection update, the last protection update of 2021. Now we're rapidly getting towards the end of the year. It's nearly Christmas at the time of recording this podcast, and despite some of the ups and downs with how the beginning of the year started, remember that we had quite a lot of restrictions that we had to live through, it really has been a superb year for protection at the Right Mortgage and Protection Network. We've seen more protection sales than we've ever seen before, which is obviously a fantastic result for you and your business, but don't forget your clients and their families. So well done to each and every one of you. If you've had a conversation this year with a client about protection, it really does make a difference. Now, when you look at things like trusts for life cover, that's always been something which has been something we've need to aspire to get better at within our industry. We actually ran a trust campaign back in August, and we know that August is typically a holiday month, but that trust campaign centered around some webinars and also a series of Protection Insight podcasts, where I actually sat down with all the main protection providers and I asked them a simple question, which was to walk me through the process of writing one of your policies into one of your trusts using your process. Now, these podcasts are all on the Protection Insights page, and of course you can refer back to them as and when you need to. And I've actually spoken to quite a few of you who have found these podcasts to be a particularly useful reference to you to guide you through those trust processes, because we know each of the provider has a different process. Well, another highlight for me was when I spoke to Vitality in October and we looked back at how things had gone the previous month. Actually, in September, we wrote 55% of new business with Vitality into trust at point of sale, which was a remarkable achievement. But obviously, it's something that we need to keep going and keep carrying on that same vein. Now, another thing that we've done really well with, but we could do better, is income protection. If you look back at all the protection policies recommended throughout the whole of the network, actually 11% of them were income protection. We could do better in that area. So that's an area that I would like to see an improvement on as we start to look forward to 2022. And the thing is, it's not difficult these days to actually fit some income protection into the solution. If you look at the podcast that I recorded with Carl Hurd at LV, we actually demonstrated that if the simple objective is to make sure your clients can maintain the mortgage payments, it is possible to fit some very affordable income protection into the protection recommendation. So start thinking about IP as a crucial part of the mortgage protection objective. Do it as an addition to life cover so that your clients can do the thing that it says on the risk statement, that is, keep up repayments on your mortgage. Is some level of cover better than nothing at all? I think so. Now, these days, there are so many opportunities to get your clients access to a personal sick pay solution than ever before. And if you attended the workshops that we ran back in September, we call them Better Sick Pay Schemes, you might remember that we actually held a quiz which was all about the risk, chance and probability of something happening to one of your clients. And I thought I'd revisit that quiz as a bit of fun on this very last protection update of the year. Now, the way that it worked was that on one hand, we showed you the chance of a particular thing happening to a celebrity. On the other, we compared this against the chance of one of your clients going off work sick for 2 months or longer. And the key question is, who has the greater odds? What's the more likely thing to happen? So for this final bit of the protection update, I've actually got the original slides that we used on those workshops. So let's take a look at each of those quiz examples. So in the first one, we looked at Tom Daley and the question of what's the chance of him winning Sports Personality of the Year 2021? Or would it be one of your clients? And in this example, it was Sally, who is a female aged 25, going off work sick during a working lifetime, which we expect to run to age 65. Well, at the time of recording this podcast, we've just seen the BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2021 play out. And of course, Tom didn't win, despite his really heroic efforts at the Olympic Games in Tokyo in the summer. You'll remember he won a gold medal and he won a bronze medal, but he didn't win BBC Sports Personality of the Year. That went to someone else. Now, Tom's chance, according to the bookies, and this was on the 27th of September 2021, was actually 15-1. And if you convert that into a percentage, it was a 6.3% chance that he would win. Now, your client, Sally, on the other hand, carried a 47% chance that she would find herself in a position where she went off work sick for 2 months or longer. And of course, in that situation, she might need to claim on her income protection plan. So the person with the higher probability in the first example was your client, Sally. So in this next scenario, we asked the question, what were the chances of Dan Walker being voted off Strictly Come Dancing at the weekend of the 2nd of October? Dan Walker from BBC Breakfast and Football Focused. Now, to be honest, I don't watch Strictly, so I had really no frame of reference other than my perception was that with him being so tall, he'd probably be a bit awkward and gangly on the dance floor. Now, according to the bookies, Dan was 7-1 to be voted off that week, but in actual fact, he made it all the way through to week 11, which wasn't too far away from the final. And as a percentage, 7-1 odds equates to 12.5% chance. Now, if you look at our client example, on the other hand, this was Tracy, a 55-year-old female who is going to retire in 5 years' time when she gets to 60. So the question, who had the greater probability? Was it Dan being voted off Strictly, or was it Tracy going off work sick in the next 5 years? The answer was it was actually Dan Walker, because the chance of Tracy going off work sick was 11%. Dan, of course, was 12.5%. Now, in the next example, we looked at John, who's one of your clients, who's 30, male, non-smoker, and again, scenario of going off work sick before he reaches age 55. So we're looking over the next 25 years. The celebrity in this example was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the question really of what were the chances of him being sacked as manager of Manchester United before the end of the season. Well, we looked at the odds on the 20th of October, and the odds of Ole being sacked during the season were actually 12-1, which equates to a 7.7% chance. So once again, it was your client John who actually carried a greater chance of going off work sick in this example. Now, the final example we tried to portray was a client who looked really like they had a very decent chance of at some point in their working lifetime going off work sick for 2 months or longer. And the client here was Fiona, a female, age 31. She's a non-smoker, and we ran the analysis all the way up to her 70th birthday. Now, the celebrity in this example was Emma Raducanu. If you don't know who she is, she's the 18-year-old British tennis player who went across to the US Open at the first time of asking and won it. Well, the bookies actually gave her a 1 to 12 chance of winning BBC Sports Personality of the Year. That actually equates to a 92.3% chance. And indeed, last Sunday, the 19th of December, she actually did win Sports Personality of the Year. Now, our client, on the other hand, Fiona, actually carried a 48% chance of going off work sick. So it wasn't close in the end, but remember, that's still a coin flip chance that your client, Fiona, would actually go off work sick at some point during her working lifetime. So it does beg the question, would it not be worth having a sick pay solution in that instance? And in this final example, we're actually looking at two celebrities. We know what the odds were for Emma Raducanu winning Sports Personality of the Year, and they were quite high. But what were the chances of Steve Bruce being sacked by Newcastle United before the end of the season? Were they greater or less than Emma's? Well, hindsight is a wonderful thing, they say, but if you follow football, you'll know that Steve Bruce was indeed sacked by Newcastle United. In fact, I showed this slide during the Better Sick Pay Schemes workshop on the 20th of October this year, and by the time we got to lunchtime and the end of the session, Steve Bruce was no longer manager of Newcastle United. The bookies' odds of Steve Bruce being sacked were actually 1 to 20, and if you equate that to a percentage chance, it was a 95.2% chance, which was even greater than the odds given to Emma Raducanu. We did all of that a few months ago, and I thought it was interesting to reflect back because the bookies don't often get it wrong. From a protection perspective, the risk reality is based on data evidence of real people, and it does help us put a bit of perspective about the chance and likelihood of someone needing to claim on a protection policy. I'm sure there have been lots of claims this year, and I'll share some of the stories in the coming weeks and months as we get all of the details. But that really is it now for another weekly protection update, which, as I say, is in fact the last one of 2021. I just wanted to say a big thank you to our marketing team, who very often have to pull out the stops and work their magic in order to get these updates out and ready to you each Friday. So with that, enjoy the holidays with your family and your loved ones. Take a break and relax. And when we come back, we've got a really good 2022 to look forward to. So from me and all the team here at the Right Mortgage and Protection Network, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year to each and every one of you.